Costin's view, this is a different pressure tonight. This is a fight he's expected to win. But he seems so relaxed. A couple of nights before the fight, he was down at the bar chatting with his friends as though he was getting set to go on holiday, as opposed to chase his second berth of a world title. Tremendous temperament. Now he has confidence in his own ability, and quite rightly so.
He has fought here before in 1998 on the way up, when he beat Anthony Campbell on points over 6 rounds. How things have changed since those days. Tail of the tape, Hatton 7 years younger. Maussa a very late developer into a world champion, but the Colombian is a lot taller. He's got a reach advantage here. You saw that Maussa had 3 attempts to make the weight yesterday. Hatton did it first time of asking. Hatton, who's been a pro now since 1997. Maussa turned pro at 28 in the year 2000. More experience and at a better level too for Ricky Hatton, who had that wonderful win over the seemingly invincible Kostya Tszyu back in June. His mum and dad, of course, as ever, here, and we're just about set to go. After 39 steps to fame and fortune, here is fight number 40. Will Hatton stay unbeaten and become a dual world champion tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, from Hallam FM Arena here in Sheffield, England, Dennis Hobson for Fight Academy presents the Unification. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF WBA Light Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by the world's favorite online casino, Interpoker.com. We're live and exclusive on Sky Box Office. USA distribution by Integrated Sports. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. General Secretary Simon Block. Chief Steward Charles Giles. IBF Supervisor Lindsay Tucker. WBA Supervisor Sebastian Contursi. Timekeeper and counting for the knockdown seconds, Barry Pinder. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this bout will be from England, John Coyle. From the United States, Dr. Ruben Garcia. And from Canada, Guy Jutra. And inside the ring, the man in charge of the action, working for the 126th time in a world title bout from Leeds, England, Mickey Vann. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from the Steel City of Sheffield, England, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing yellow, red, and blue. Official weight, 9 stone, 13 pounds, 10 ounces. His professional record, an outstanding one of 20 victories in 22 bouts, while scoring 18 knockouts with only 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros de Monteria, Colombia, the reigning WBA Light Welterweight Champion of the World, Carlos El Apostol Maussa. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, black, silver, and white. Official weight, 9 stone, 13 pounds, 10 ounces. His professional record, a perfect one, consisting of 39 bouts, 39 victories, including 29 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the fighting pride of Manchester, England, the reigning undefeated IBF Light Welterweight Champion of the World, Ricky Hitman Hatton.
The inimitable Michael Buffer adding gloss to the occasion.
Remember when I told you there was no notice with you? Shake hands. Good luck, boys.
Sometime rugby league coach with Leeds Rhinos, Mickey Van, is your referee tonight. Tonight, the first night of the rest of Ricky Hatton's boxing life. He scaled the mountain by beating Costazieu. Now he has to handle this unauthentic, unorthodox fighter from Colombia, Carlos Maussa. Tall, with a very, very crazy sort of style of throwing punches from all kinds of angles. Hatton will have to be careful on the way in. Roll inside. Make sure he isn't caught by some kind of silly punch, because he is heavy-handed, this Colombian Carlos Maussa.
Well, Ricky will want to get Maussa on the back foot, where the long swinging wide punches are not quite so effective. Fighters who throw them wide usually have to come forward. Well, Ricky was a little bit naughty with his own head there, I thought.
Hatton's first defence of the IBF title gets him with a good body shot. Maussa making his first defence of the WBA version. Has to be careful, he's cut. Hatton is cut in the opening seconds of the fight above the left eye. The old problem resurfaces. He's been getting away with it recently. Was that a clash of heads, or was he caught by a punch? But an early problem, and he's had these kind of crises before.
Mickey Van has just motioned to Maussa's head. I wonder, could that save Ricky's version of the title? Was he telling us it was a clash of heads? We'll find out at the end of the round, I believe.
Because if it has to be stopped within 4 rounds, it could be declared a no contest.
Ricky, it's very, very reckless here. This is not necessary. This was necessary against you, but not against this fellow. He can take more care, he can box smoother, but he's very, very reckless.
Early drama here. Hatton, who's had plastic surgery in the past because of cuts problems. Cut above the left eye, and he catches Maussa, who does hold his chin in the air. At times his style looks like a novice Maussa. He's so wide open, but he's a threshing machine almost of a fighter, just throwing out these shots like some kind of whirling dervish and hoping to get lucky.
Well, the first round has served up drama we could have done without. Looking forward to see what Mickey Van made of that injury. Was it head or was it a punch?
No, they say a head clash, I'm hearing. We're hearing that it was a clash of heads.
It's strange because at that point it looked as though Ricky was the one who was a little bit naughty with his head.
And the cut does look quite bad as well. Another cut. He's spreading along that eyebrow. He got it with a body shot. Maussa will be lifted by that. He's rocked by that left hook. His balance is pretty awful, Maussa.
I mean, he is actually like a novice at times. He's very heavy-handed. I mean, Ricky has to push him back, but a bit more control in his boxing would have been much better.
Well, problems, but he's got one of the best cutsmen in the business in Nick Williamson to work that corner, and he'll need to work, and fast.
You're going to get this fucker, you're going to break him in fucking half. Get your feet in first. Yeah. Try to go before your feet in. You're chopping them down on you. Don't approach him and get your feet in, yeah? If the fucker leans back, you'll break this fucker in half. Stay cool. Okay.
Now, this is what we think happened. Have a look at this. This is how the cut happens. There.
Yep, that was a naughty clash. The Ricky was boning in himself, but he can't be faulted by that. Maussa was definitely, just shortly after that, Ricky looked a little bit guilty, but that was definitely Maussa's fault, that one. Good call from Mickey Van, referee.
Well, he's been free with the head in the past. He's an awkward kind of fighter. That kind of thing could happen. But how bad is that gash? That doesn't look too clever, does it?
Well, it's important that Ricky wins the early rounds in case this goes to the scorecards after the fourth.
That's the cut-off point. There must be 4 completed rounds before they can go to the scorecards in this scenario. If they don't have 4 completed rounds and the fight has to be stopped before that, it is a no contest.
Ricky's struggling with his range at the moment. This is it, a little bit more control and hunt the body.
And he needs to be careful too, Hatton, as he dives in, that he's not just picked off with one of these many lottery tickets, if you like, that Maussa's buying as he throws the punches, and that one of them doesn't just hit the jackpot.
I mean, the problem, Ricky, is not looking the smooth one champion that we expected tonight. Get the result as he did against you, but I'd like to see him a little bit smoother.
He's a hard man to look good against, though, Carlos Maussa. That Billy Graham, the trainer, was saying Ricky will look good. So far, not.
But Hatton is so much better technique-wise than Maussa. He can force him into making mistakes, punish him for those mistakes. But Ricky's just too keen and eager to get close.
He's trying to just rock him back. They don't think Maussa can fight on the back foot, I think.
No, the tactics are right, just a little bit too reckless for my liking.
We're keeping an eye on that cut to see whether it can hold up. Remember, he had to fight the whole fight a few years ago against John Thaxton in a British Championship fight with a terrible cut. Not many fighters would have been allowed to go on with it. A few other instances as well, but not many lately, not till tonight.
Ricky trying to sink in some body shots here to slow this fella down.
Maussa, a real wild man. But he is strong and he's well conditioned. He's been working up in the mountains of Colombia at 6,000 feet to get himself ready for this.
Ricky reaching with his punches there, whereas in the past he stepped in with the shots. This fellow is as awkward as he expected, I think.
A lot of body to aim at, though, of Maussa, and Hatton, of course, needs no second invitation in that area usually. Maussa gets in with his own body punches as well. Miguel Cotto, who fought him, the WBO champion, said that Maussa was very, very strong and hit surprisingly hard. Cotto stopped him in 8 rounds and floored him in the 3rd as well.
Improvement in Ricky's work now. A little bit cooler, picking his punches better. He was reaching with the shots on the way in. Starting to look the part.
Incident aplenty every time Hatton fights, it seems.
That's a good shot. You get a few meat ones downstairs. Don't let it get ragged out like that, you know what I mean? You've got time. You could discuss, but don't worry about the fucking cut, yeah? Just get in on him and pick the slug.
He's come back from difficult moments in the past, hasn't he, in his career as well. Remember how he was floored in the first by Eamon McGee and hurt in the second, still prevailed.
Well, the good news, it looks a wide cut but not a deep one. I'm sure Mick Williamson can get it under control, but it's just the recklessness in some of Ricky's moves. You know, he's reaching with the punch, he's swinging. I mean, he's a quality fighter. Just love to see him settle down and use his talents a little bit more. He's starting to do that now.
Nassim Hamed, who's threatening a comeback at ringside. Marco Antonio Pereira, Tim Witherspoon, Frank Bruno's old opponent, among the many stars at ringside. Big fight occasion, big fight atmosphere. Hatton comes forward again, looking to back up Maussa all the time. The Colombian believing that one of these wild punches as if might pay off for him.
Well, Ricky was expecting an awkward customer, and that's exactly what he's getting. He hasn't shaken Maussa yet with any of the head punches.
Good left hook, right on the button that time from Hatton, but Maussa again
heads came
unmoved.
together as well, though, Ian. Is that the other eye? That looks like the other eye, Ian.
Let's see if he's got another cut. He's got his back to us at the moment, but we think Hatton might have picked up another cut here.
The heads came together just as that punch landed in. It looks as though he's cut over both eyes.
Oh dear. Another head clash and another problem for Hatton, who gets him with a great right uppercut. Maussa looked a bit troubled by that one, suddenly looked down at the canvas, but he'll be lifted by the sight of the blood. Gory though that may seem. Oh, it's a bad one. It's a bad one by the right eye.
I mean, this is bad news for Hatton tonight, but it's also bad news for his boxing future in this division. A long time since he's been cut, and 2 horrible cuts in the one fight.
Tell you what, Mick Williamson, the cuts man's going to earn his living tonight. The 1 minute wonder in the corner.
Well, Ricky needs this fight to pass the 4th round if he wants to go home with 2 titles, because he's obviously heading points. But if it's stopped at the end of this round, then both guys go home, I believe, with their own titles.
Is he seeing okay out of that eye as well? Maussa's smiling, leering through his gun shield somehow. Just there, being warned Maussa about using the heel of the glove to try to rub his glove into the cup by the referee, Nicky Van.
Well, can we say we're surprised? I mean, he is a roughhouse, he's careless with his head, his elbows, so why should we be surprised?
Dirty tricks department from the Colombian. Few fighters would try that, mind you, in his situation. Long way from home, crowd against him. He's in the bear pit, all right, but Hatton's got a problem, a big problem.
Well, Ian, I think the fact that his head has caused both cuts, he's title safe because he's winning the round, so if it goes to the scorecards, he's going to win. But we need another round completed.
That's 3 completed. Well, I was going to say this wasn't in the script, but maybe it was, because it's happened before.
Don't panic. That's not a bad one. It's on your neck, that side, Rick. You need that body. It's not desperate. You ain't got to... Come on. Don't worry. You ain't got to just go blasting him because you're cut down.
Another head clash, we believe.
As if you're not cut, you know what I'm saying? Just listen. We want the body. The body will be quicker than the head. You can say, he didn't want to know that. He didn't want to know that.
Yeah, Ricky landed a good punch and an obvious clash right after the punch. Punch landed, bang.
And does he here rub the heel of his glove into the cut deliberately? Yep.
Bang out of order. Again, well spotted from Mickey Van.
Next time he tries anything like that, there's got to be a point deduction. In fact, he was lucky to get away with that one then, I think. Here's round 4, and remember, this 4-round cut-off, otherwise no contest. After that, they can go to the scorecards, and Hatton is leading, I think, quite beyond dispute. But this fight, we thought it might be one with a few scary moments along the way, and it's proving exactly that. Put the kids to bed early, Hatton said at the press conference.
Well, it's living up to that, but Ricky still has to be careful, because if he walks onto a solid shot and is knocked down, then we can forget the scorecards. He still has to do this in a professional manner.
Watch the heads. Warning there, particularly to Maussa from Mickey Van, who has refereed Hatton about 8 or 9 times in the past. Oh, that's a good shot, that jab, which he turned into a hook at the last minute from Hatton. Definitely the superior technician. There's a lot of the novice, really, about Maussa's style.
Yeah, but Ricky's finding it difficult because of that, to put punches together. He's landing single shots, but this fellow is so unorthodox, he's so clumsy, he clinches, pushes, pulls. It's difficult for Hatton to find some rhythm and put punches together.
Maussa, who grew up fighting on small shows in Colombia, where he knocked out everybody inside about 4 rounds, but they were obscure fighters. It was the Vivian Harris win that gave him worldwide attention. He's on about 10 times his previous highest burst tonight, Maussa. Glad to get the job, but he wants Hatton's title as well as the one he holds.
Well, some of the pace has gone out of Maussa's work now. So this is where you would expect Ricky really to take over and start dominating things. I'd still just like a little bit more care on the way in. Good body.
Keeping his cool, Hatton, despite looking through the red mist. of the cut, which is causing blood and must be just impairing his vision slightly, I would say.
Lot more control in Ricky's boxing now, picking the shots, finding the range, getting his timing together. Some of the awkwardness has gone out of Maussa's work because he's slowing down.
Starting to get to him with some of these body shots, and another hook to the head. Just settled into a better rhythm. He was rushing it, I think, early on. The adrenaline was flowing. Just picking the shots, not diving in as much, and avoiding too, as he does this, the clashes of heads a bit more. If he can keep it out at range, he does have to get on the inside to punch to the body. But somehow, maybe raiding tactics would be better. Well, we got to those 4 rounds and then Hatton gave him one after the bell, and maybe that was a little bit of afters. I'll give it you back if you want.
Yeah, well, Ricky's known for that. He's done that once or twice in the past. Well, now we're past the 4th round. Both titles are up for grabs. Once again, whatever happens.
You get something clean out there, you'll break his fucking ribs. Just don't panic. Don't panic. He's gonna win. He's gonna get slower. He's gonna get more tired. He's gonna get easier to get. All you've got to do is hold your nerve and keep the faith, yeah? You can break this kid. I promise you, you can break this kid. Don't take no crazy chances. Still can defeat him.
Billy the Preacher Graham, who's been part of Ricky Hatton's success story all the way, the trainer.
See, there's not full power in Ricky's shots at the moment. He's a little bit off balance. He's on his toes at times as he reaches with the punches. He's not settled, he's not dipped at the knees to get the full power into the shots. But I'm sure that will come as the pace slows.
Felix Sabala, the manager, sending out Maussa with the message that it's still all there for him, possibly.
Ricky just walked onto a couple of hooks there.
Oh, left hook was a good shot from Hatton, and again it landed flush into the head of the Colombian, who looks a little disorientated. For a while he has a strange habit of looking at the canvas and trying to throw punches while not looking at the opponent. Bizarre.
And he's dropping his own hands now.
Low blow that time from Maussa. He must be close to a point deduction for various transgressions.
Well, I think Ricky is finding out just how difficult it is to land cleanly. He's been forced to reach with his punches by the way Maussa is pulling back, swaying back. Ricky, a little bit untidy again in this round.
Good head movement, though. He's slipping a lot of the shots from Maussa, just finding his way into range to get him with his own. So much more accurate than the wild man from South America. A wild man who I think range dangerous. Right hand lands again. Maussa takes that without any apparent distress.
A little bit of blood in Maussa's eye, but it's below the eye, below the right eye, nothing serious. Maussa's punches are beginning to look tired now.
Hatton starting to get to him. Very good accuracy from Hatton, driving Maussa backwards across the ring. That was the flap. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride, isn't it, here?
Maussa still hasn't really been troubled by any of the head shots from Ricky. I still think Ricky is having to get up onto his toes to land the shots, so they're not full power shots.
Such an awkward Spider-Man to fight, this Carlos Maussa. Just again gives that silly little smile after Hatton lands the shot, which told him in a way that it registered, I think. And that certainly did, that one.
That was better. He got closer with that shot. Some of the punches have lost their steam by the time they land. Just needs to get that little bit closer. That was a beauty.
Hatton trying trying to maintain that 3 minutes around intensity that he showed against Costa Zhu. I think he broke Zhu's heart that night. He's winning every round here, but he's having to walk the tightrope with the cuts a little bit.
Well, I wonder, Ian, is he happy with his own form tonight? I mean, he's forcing everything. I know this guy is awkward, difficult to pin down, but Ricky is having to force and reach and stretch to get the punches home.
Keep your nerve, keep the faith. That was the message from trainer Billy Graham. Hatton's thrown nearly 200 now. Moussa's thrown a few more. But look at the difference in success. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that sums up, I mean, the fact that Ricky keeps coming forward. But I wonder, does he feel the tactics are right? He's going to carry on with these tactics, still a little bit reckless. Or will he change and try and smooth things down a bit, pick the punches a little bit more accurately? But what he's doing is working.
Feeling it now.
Maybe he'll just leave it alone.
Sometimes just diffuse it. Keep plugging away.
Ricky Hatton, who revealed recently in the newspaper that he was frightened only of cats, but not apparently of Mausers. Bit of a Tom and Jerry angle for you. This is the 6th round. Hatton again on the rampage, as he has been just about all his career. Still got to be careful though, Jim, hasn't he, here?
Yeah, because this fellow still is heavy-handed. He's punching low now. It's good that Ricky Van's leaving them to it. It wasn't the danger area, letting them get on with it.
He'll be relieved to get this out of the way, Hatton, if indeed he can. The plan is to go to America next and unveil Hatton there, maybe at Madison Square Garden against Arturo Gatti. But there's plenty of work left tonight yet.
Well, I heard the story that Ricky was advising some of his friends to back round about the 4th or 5th round. Well, has he underestimated Maussa the way Vivian Harris did? Obviously, Ricky's in the real kind of shape here. But I wonder, this performance, what will the Americans think about it, Ian? Is it a little bit scrappy? It's forced. There's nothing really flowing for Ricky here. I know this guy's awkward.
Yeah, very awkward. He is hard to look good against. I think almost everybody's found that who's fought him. Body shots, and he's got a kind of indestructibility about him as well. But I think Hatton is looking here to wear him down. Erosive tactics. It's a question, I think, now with the cuts of just getting this job done. Mick Williamson's done a fantastic job in the corner with the cuts. They've held up brilliantly. Again, worth his weight in gold.
I mean, at times I would like to see Ricky maybe show a little feint, get this fella to let some punches go, then punish them. But a bit more method in what he's doing, I would prefer, but get the result at the moment. The titles are going towards his corner.
Maussa's sagging a bit at the moment. His hands have dropped even more. His chin is hanging out to dry on the washing line. It's an open target. He can take a punch, but he's dicing with danger. His right eye looks like it's shutting as well, Maussa. Does have a sort of strange look about that eye anyway, even when we were looking at it at the weigh-in, but it might be just shutting up a bit from the punishment he's taking in there. Hatton shoots us a glance at ringside.
He actually shook his head there, Ian. I think he knows this is, he would like to be doing this maybe just a little bit more cleanly, but not easy with this fella. But Ricky well on top. Some more nasties creeping into the fight. We can do without those.
Put it in the back of his head. Put it in the back of his head. Listen, he's feeling it now. He'll come out for the first, right? He'll throw more. He'll feel strong in the first minute, yeah? He wilted really badly towards the end. You must feel it. You must feel his wilting, yeah? He'll come strong in the early part of the round, yeah? Then you start to get some game. Just keep chipping away. You'll find him swaying and slipping around. So you're not quite getting him clean, but you will do. You're going to get there. You're going to get there. Fuck the cuts. The cuts are fuck all. You're going to get there. You just keep calm, keep keeping it, and just keep plugging away. You're going to break this bastard.
It's an Oscar-winning performance, I think, in the corner from Billy Graham. You'll have to excuse the industrial language, but it comes with giving you that insight into what's going on in there, I'm afraid. This is round 7. This is the round, by the way, in which Maussa knocked out Vivian Harris to become a shock WBA champion at Hague. I tell you what, if this guy didn't hold a title, you really wouldn't want him, would you, this Carlos Maussa?
Yeah, but I agree with that, and I'm just thinking, Ian, it's inevitable that Ricky's performance here is going to be compared with Miguel Cotto's, and we have to say Cotto did a far cleaner job on Maussa than Ricky's doing. It's a struggle, he's winning it clearly, but there's not that smooth look about Ricky's work that we've seen in some of his previous fights. This was necessary against Costa Dieu, but I don't think it was necessary against Maussa here. But results are the only important things in unification matches.
Cotto wasn't cut, of course, over both eyes, though, was he, Jim? I think you've got to build that into the equation as well. He's had to be a little bit desperate tonight, Hatton. It's been anything but silky smooth for him, but I think this is all about just getting the W, the win, at the end of it now for him. I think the crowd are just loving the drama of this, aren't they, too, here?
Yeah, it's a tremendous spectacle, and you always know sort of Ricky can't do it smoothly, and he's got to grind out a performance. No problem, that'll be done.
Heads banged together again, I think, on the inside there. Oh, that's a big left hook, and again, Maussa absorbed it like blotting paper, but how much longer can he carry on taking them? I don't think Hatton, at the top world level, is a big concussive puncher. He's the kind of fighter who's very hurtful and will wear you down at the elite level. I stress at the elite level.
I expected to see more body assaults, but obviously this guy is much more awkward even than we can imagine.
But he has had a good 12-week preparation, so essential for Hatton, who does tend to balloon up in weight between fights. Again, he pummels the Colombian to the body. It's a real beanpole of a light welterweight, isn't he, Maussa? Again, his hands down by his side. He's just having to rely on his resilience.
I think Ricky's putting a bit more method into his boxing now. He's trying to draw the leads and counter, but Maussa still has that habit of pulling back from Ricky's punches, and the steam has left them before they land. Really is an awkward customer.
Horrible guy to have to fight, frankly. Maussa looks to touch gloves at the end of the round. I don't think he's won a round yet, Maussa. Not on my card, anyway.
No, he's been under the cosh all the way through. Ricky's just completely outworking him.
Well, he's landed, what is that, 4 times exactly, or to the, as many punches to the head Hatton in this fight. Look at that, 96 to 24, more to the body as well. That's a very low total to the body for Hatton, isn't it?
Yeah, I would expect him to concentrate, and Billy Graham also told him to go for the body a bit more. But I think Ricky's happy in the fact that he's winning this, picking up another version of the title, and quite happy that he's in the driving seat controlling things. But it is a struggle. Good right hand. I mean, that one he stepped in with it, timed it perfectly. But you see, as he pulls away from the punches, just takes some of the sting out of them.
Oh, they can barely bear to look. Ray's better at it than Carol, who has to look through the fingers above her eyes and has been known to resort to a little swig of vodka from her handbag to calm the nerves. Round 8 of this.
Ricky's just walked onto 2 solid punches there, but walked right through them. So, more good news for Hatton.
I think the Zhu fight proved that he's got a good chin, didn't it, Hatton?
Of course it did, but I mean, I think the Zhu night was a special night. I think that night he would have walked through anything. Fighters can't just switch that on and off. I mean, Ricky has been shaken a couple of times in his earlier fights. Nobody is superhuman.
Maussa's right eye has shut up a bit. You can see Vaseline there that they've tried to put on, and that, I think, isn't helping his vision any.
I mean, the problem with the eye is swelling, not the little nick. Why did they put Vaseline on it? I don't understand that.
He looks ready to be taken, Maussa, but somehow he just stays in there. It was like that with Vivian Harris, wasn't it? He looks all over the place. He doesn't look like a world champion, but he does everything so wrong. Sometimes he's right.
Yeah, and it's just his sheer physical strength, his heavy-handedness, but his power has never troubled Hatton. It's just his awkwardness must really be frustrating Ricky Hatton.
Picked a nice right hand as they broke away there, Hatton, whose boxing skills are underestimated in my view, and indeed in his own. He's not just a walk-forward brawler, though it might sometimes appear like that.
See, this is good here, showing a little feint before he goes to work, force Maussa to make the first move. This is what you have to do with awkward guys, not just sail in throwing punches, bit more method now. That was clever stuff. That's it, draw some punches, counter.
Tired arm punches almost now from Maussa, who looks quite weak and a bit dispirited. And just has to be careful not to go into that zone and stay there where Maussa might get lucky with one.
I mean, these punches are looking good at the back of the hall, but there's no real power in them. Maussa's pulling away from them. They're point scoring, of course, but not really troubling. That was a better little shot right hand.
See, I think their basic strategy idea of forcing Maussa backwards is working, because it's negating what Maussa has got, walking forward and throwing big wide arcing punches. He's not been able to do that really tonight.
Ian, there is no question Ricky is well winning the fight, but I'll be interested to hear him speak afterwards. If you're happy with the way he's doing it, I don't suppose you can be unhappy about picking up the second version of the world title. Another round to the Hatton corner.
Amazing atmosphere in here. You wondered whether it'd be quite the same in Sheffield, which in the past, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's been quite the same kind of fight city as Manchester, but we've come across the Snake Pass for this one. It's just the same.
It's the same fans, Ian, it's the same fans. I mean, Ricky has a tremendous fan base. Every fight Ricky's in, even if he's dominating, it's exciting, and tonight is no different. A few times during that round he was thinking what he was doing, showing a little feint, drawing mistakes out of Maussa. See, these are the punches that look good, but the fact that Maussa's pulling away from them, he's able to take them.
Well, Prince Nassim Hamad, I spoke to him today at the hotel, and he was saying, I miss boxing, and boxing misses me, and I will be back. Well, I think if he does come back, it will be a big hullabaloo, of course, but I think we've got to say we'll believe it when we see it. He's been away a long time now. Hatton told to watch his head there as he pulled in head first at Maussa. I remember him giving Costa Azul a punch deliberately below the belt as a kind of revenge retribution mission in that fight. Got to look after yourself in there.
Now this is better, Ricky, looking at the target, slipping, dipping, and then letting the punch go. He can't afford just to walk. A beautiful punch. Now this is what we're looking for. This is a real Ricky Hatton. We're seeing a beautiful right hand again.
Oh, he's got him with a left hook. Huge left hook. Climaxes Maussa in the 9th round. Can he get up from that? They want him to quit anyway. He's knocked out. All over in the 9th round. New era, new venue, new promoter. Same result. Ricky Hatton, devastating, and now a dual world champion.
Well, I think that's maybe the first time tonight we saw the real Ricky Hatton. Quality, picking his punches, thinking what he was doing, just calming down slightly, picking up beautifully. Two beautiful right hooks to set it up, and a tremendous left hook to finish the job. Great performance all the way through for Ricky, maybe a little bit more scrappy than I expected, but what a tremendous finish.
Maybe necessarily scrappy given the opponent. We'll see what he says afterwards, but Hatton's got the job done. He's weakened the man, he's broken him down, and the finish was something to behold.
Yeah, and once again, several times he come through tremendous punches from Maussa. So he's proved he is at the top of the division. Double title holder now, so when they go to the negotiating table, some massive fights out there for Ricky Hatton. And he looks happy enough to me.
There we are, a hug for his dad. The carpet fitter, Ray and Carol. She can relax now. She can put the vodka bottle back in the handbag. Oh, I've done it, he says. And I think he's just glad to be back performing in the ring after all the unsavoury headlines and legal distractions of the last few months connected with his breakaway from promoter Frank Warren.
I think maybe the only slight regret, not necessarily a slight regret, is the fact that both eyes damaged for a long time. Ricky has avoided facial damage, but this time, which was also probably one of the reasons he had to approach the fight the way he did.
Check out this finish again, Jim. It's some finish from Hatton.
He picked a beautiful right hand, stepped in with the shot, looked at the target, took his time, stepped in again, beautiful right hand again. Then, see, at this point, he calmed down, looking for the target, not just sailing in. Bang, left hook, bang on the point of the chin. And at that stage in the fight, Maussa was never going to take that. He was flagging, he was struggling. Ricky, bang, beautiful left hook.
Miguel Cotto, the WBO champion, did it one round quicker, but Hatton, I would argue, did it much more decisively.
Didn't knock him out, Cotto. I believe that Maussa was still on his feet.
He was, and he was busted up.
He was busted up badly. But Hatton has knocked him out. Wonderful, wonderful finish.
And watch this in the corner. Felix Zabala, the manager, tries to stop the fight before the count is completed. Relief for Mum.
Well, his corner knew he hadn't won a round. Hatton was too much all the way through, setting the pace, winning every round. So they're probably just glad to get him out of there without any damage.
And about $750,000 richer, Carlos Maussa, but he's lost, and Hatton now unbeaten in 40 fights.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mickey Van reaches the count of 10, and this contest comes to a halt. The official time, 1 minute, 10 seconds of round number 9. The winner by knockout victory, still undefeated. Now the unified IBF WBA light welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Manchester, England, Ricky Hitman Hatton.
Getting the full Michael Buffer treatment these days. Ricky Hatton, look at the crowd celebrating. Journey from Manchester, for those who've made that journey, very worthwhile. The judges' scorecards, by the way, all had Hatton in a massive lead. In fact, John Curl, the British, had given him every round. Ricky is going to speak to the audience here, as he likes to do.
How are we all doing, love? I tell you what, it's my first world title that I've won tonight, and it's the first time I've come out of Manchester in 12 months. And I tell you what, you follow me everywhere I go. Sheffield, you were fantastic tonight, I tell you. I'd like to thank Dennis Hobson and Robert Waterman from Fight Academy for putting this show on through a very, very difficult time. And just your turnout tonight just capped off another fantastic night for me. Another world title I've brought to Britain. Thanks very much. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
ever the ambassador, Ricky Hatton. Next stop, America, and I'm hearing word that Arturo Gatti, the exciting American, may be the next opponent. Maybe in May, maybe at Madison Square Garden. But those cuts of Hatton have got to heal up first. But it definitely, I think, will be that the next fight, maybe the next few fights, will be in the United States against the elite men in the division. And there are several fights Hatton could have, like Jose Luis Castillo, the man who's just been in those 2 thrillers with Diego Corrales. He's moving up into this division. There's Floyd Mayweather, that would be the big money spinner. Mayweather, a beautiful artiste of the ring. That would be a wonderful clash of styles if those two met. And of course, he could easily fight against other champions and big names from that 10-stone division. He's a happy man. I think he's a relieved man as well after what happened early.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at especially the cut over the left eye. But I mean, it was a beautiful, it was a hard fight all the way through, an awkward fight all the way through, difficult at times to look good, as Ricky expected against this guy. But you saw the sheer quality of the man in the finish. Those were the best punches he'd thrown all night long, and they did the job. Tremendous finish. Certainly far better than the Miguel Cotto finish of Maussa. Tremendous.
Billy Graham, his trainer, said it wouldn't be one for the squeamish. He was right about that. But we wait with interest to hear what Ricky Hatton himself made of his own performance tonight, and what his plans are indeed for the future. I think the fans here are definitely going home happy. They've seen another happening, another Ricky Hatton victorious night, and he's talking now with Adam Smith.
Ricky Hatton, you add the WBA belt to your IBF crown, but how pleased, satisfied and relieved were you to knock him out when you did?
Well, I'll have to watch the tape again, but I felt I was miles in front, but I wasn't boxing to me, my full potential, what I could do. It was very awkward. He was swaying back from the punches, made it difficult to nail me, for me to nail him, I should say. But I think I was trying too hard. This is probably the most difficult period of my boxing career, and I think at times I just wanted to go in there and kill him. I was so built up, for obvious reasons, but just happy to have the WBA version, and top and bottom of it is Virgin Harris couldn't do that, neither could Miguel Cotto, so if that's on a bad performance, what's going to happen when I'm on song?
The old fragile skin came back to haunt you in the first round and again in the third. Did the cuts affect you?
Well, you know what? The cuts come along because I was a little bit more I wasn't as cautious as usual. I was loading up, trying to get in with big bombs, and I think the reason why I haven't cut so much in the past is because I've been more wary of it. I've been boxing a bit more, and I've been going in a little bit more cautious. But tonight, the red mist come along a little bit, but made for good action, and I'm sure the fans from Sheffield loved it.
How tough was it dealing with the ungainly style of Maussa?
Very tough indeed. He was swaying back from the punches. He was holding a lot, which is obviously strength sapping, and along with me trying to load up, it didn't help, and it made for a bit of a messy affair. But I think as the rounds went on, I loosened up a bit more, and then I was able, Billy said in the corner, getting with a short left hook, and unbelievable, that was what I caught him with.
And finally, your 30th knockout of your career, one of the sweetest?
Definitely, yeah, because he's like, an iron chin. Miguel Cotto stopped him in. Oh, God. Miguel Cotto stopped him in 9 rounds, but he stopped him on cuts. He didn't knock him flat like that. His chin was unbelievable. But I think I hurt him at the end of the previous round. He wobbled a little bit when he went back to his corner. So I was just trying to pick one shot then.
So now, sizzling like welterweight division out there. We hear it may be America next in May against Arturo Gatti. Can you confirm anything?
Well, let me get Christmas out of the way. I've gone straight after that war with Costa Azul into a unification match, and so maybe I was entitled to a little bit of an easier night, but it wasn't happen. I just got a few thank yous I've got to get in, Adam. The 600 squaddies come over to support me now tonight, and I'd just like to wish them all safety when they go back and come home safe. And this fight, it's my 3rd world title, the WBA belt. I'd like to dedicate and I'd like to give this belt to my dad, because this is the hardest period of my boxing career, and what my dad has done for me in the build-up in the last few months, he deserves this belt more than I do as far as I'm concerned, so I'd like to dedicate this to my dad.
It's been a magical 2005. Ricky Hatton, What are we going to see in 2006 in an ideal world?
Well, I always said from day one that I wanted to beat the best in the world, fight for the major titles. I beat the #1 in Kostya Tszyu. I've won the WBA title against Carlos Maussa. I think people thought I was pulling the pud, telling porkies when, you know, I said that I wanted to fight the best. I've been said that I was avoiding this fella, that fella. I think my win against Tszyu, my win tonight, proves that I want Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto. I'll obviously have mandatories to do, but, you know, I want them fights, and believe you me, look in these eyes, I want them, and I'll get them.
We want them. 40-0. Happy Christmas.
And you.
No, we believe you, Ricky, all right. But take good care of those eyes. And, Dad, keep good care of that WBA belt, because the other ones might be even more difficult to grab. Nicky Glenn and Clinton Woods give us their thoughts on Hatton's win here. And don't forget, the man Ricky must have in his sights somewhere up the road, Floyd Mayweather's appearance against Sharmba